feel my soul come alive. Memories flooding back. I climb the hills of Chikese. I see the walls of Chivu. I hear the roar of the lion. The lion in me. Roaming from the source of River Nile down to the falls of Machazan. Oh, let me see Karamoja, hear the sound of home Africa. Yes, I cross the Choga and run to the hills of Masaba and dance with you.
NTV kusawa yemu tuguse banywanyi yakalagane tekajja bulika mwebala okutwegattako yonna gye musinziira olunaku olwaleero ennaku z'omwezi ziri 8 omwezi gukyali gwa 12 tugenda kulaba amawulire naye nga bulijjo tusooka ne tufuna emitwe mikulu n'oluvannyuma ne tugamba ebigambo mu bujjuvu. Bamufti wa Uganda n'owa Congo nabo bayingidde mu by'okuzza emirembe Congo baagala ekibiina ekitaba amawanga kireme kweyingiza mu nsonga. Etteeka ku mafuta. Sipiika Kadaga avuddeyo ku bibadde byogerwa nti ensonga yazeebalamye. Poliisi ezobina batuuze Busia babadde baagala okukuba ababbi ebakubyemu tiyagasi. Uganda Cranes ne Harambee Stars bo beefuka mu final ya Sekafa. Zambia ekutte ekifo kya kusatu. NTV kusawa yemu katutandikirawo enteeseganya ez'okuyimiriza okulwana mu buvanjuba bwa Congo zitandika mu bujjuvu olunaku olw'enkya mu Kampala. Uganda, Rwanda ne Congo bebafuba okulaba nga abayeekera ba M23 bayimiriza okulwana. Banadini n'ababaka mu Parliament ya East Africa nabo kati baagala baweebwa omukisa babeeka amaanyi ge bateeka mu nteeseganya zino. Abakulu bano batubuulidde nti abazungu n'ekitongole ekitaba amawanga ki UN oba United Nations tebamanyi era tebafaayo ku bizibu ebikosa bannansi mu Congo nga n'olwekyo kisaana bannyini kizibu bennyini bye baba beekwatiramu mu nsonga eyo.
Olunaku lw'enkya abakungu abenyigidde mu kutebenkeza emirembe mu ggwanga lya DR Congo lwe baddamu nga ku luno ne bannaddiini baweereddwa omukisa okwetaba mu kaweefube ono.
Ffe tusobola kwogera ku birwanyisa abantu abo bye beetaaga ng'ebyobuyinza n'ebyenfuna naye ffe twagala kugonza myoyo nga bannaddiini.
Mufti Abdallah Malango okuva mu ggwanga lya Congo wamu ne Shaban Ramadhan Mubajjo wa Uganda bagamba nti teri muntu ayinza kutereeza nsonga za Congo okuggyako nga ne bannaddiini baweereddwa omukisa.
Tusaba abayeekera ne gavumenti ya Congo batuule wamu babeere nga bawonya obulamu bw'abantu basaalumanya abatakomekedde mu lutalo luno.
Mubajje agamba nti abazungu teri kye balumirirwa eri Congo wabula bo nga bannaddiini baagala baweebwa omukisa nga bwe guzze guba mu mawanga amalala gye beenyigidde.
Buli ludda lwerekereze ku lw'obulungi bw'abantu baffe babeere nga tebafuna gavumenti tefuna kyeyagala kyonna mu bujjuvu 10 ku 10 wadde efunyeeko 5 n'abayeekera nabo bafuneko 5 ku 10.
Ate yo mubaka mu Parliament ya East Africa Fred Mukasambidde agamba nti Parliament ya East Africa yayisize ekiteeso okulaba nga nabo beenyigira mu nteeseganya zino era nti n'abali mu kuteesa kuno balina okutunuulira ensonga ezimalawo obutabanguko mu Congo so si M23 yokka ng'ensonga.
Era nga naffe tugenda kubawa obuyambi n'obumanyirivu obumala okulaba nga enteeseganya ziggwa ez'okumaliriza ensonga za Congo DRC. Ekyokubiri nti n'enteeseganya zikyuke zive mu kwagala okumalawo obumazi M23 naye zirowooze ku nsonga ezireeta obugugumbo n'obugugulano.
Mbidde era agamba nti bwe kiba nga kisoboka ensonga za Congo zaalibadde zikwatibwa nga bwe bakwata ensonga za Sudaani okusobola okugitereeza.
Etunuulire ensonga ezireeta olutalo okubeerayo.
Enkyenjuyi zombi okuli olwa M23 wamu ne gavumenti ya Joseph Kabila lwe zisuubirwa okuddamu okusisinkana mu nteeseganya zino wano mu Uganda. Dini Lubo wa Sava, NTV Kusawemu.
NTV Kusawemu. Ababaka mu Parliament balumiriza nti Speaker Kadaga yali yakoze kinene okugotaanya ebyokuteesa ku bbago ery'etteeka ku mafuta weewaawo nga lyamaze ne liyisibwawo olunaku olwajjo. Amika Speaker Jacob Oulanya yabadde akubiriza Parliament. Kadaga avuddeyo ku byogerwa ababaka abamu bano n'agamba nti okuva emabega Oulanya yabadde akubiriza eby'ebbago eryayisiddwa jjo nti era ye obutabaawo nga ebbago lino liyisibwa okufuuka etteeka kyabadde tekitegeeza nti ye wogomye ebintu bimale okuggwa. Omuntu waffe yayogeddeko naye katufune ebisingawo.
You also know that the bill was majorly handled by Jacob Oulanya for the last 1 month. I came in towards the end of it. But the reason I was not around on Thursday is because we had expected to complete the bill on Tuesday and had made commitments to be outside the Parliament on Thursday. So there's no magic about it. We had planned to finish the bill on Tuesday so that Wednesday and Thursday we do other things. That's why I was not in the House. But you know that Jacob handled that bill right from the beginning. Yes.
Wow. Rebecca Kadaga, Speaker wa Parliament. Amasasi n'etiya gaasi byayisenganyiza Busia nga poliisi efuba okutaasa ababbi abagambibwa nti baliko omusuubuzi mu kitundu ekyo gwe baakubye amasasi ate ne bamutwalako ne ssente. Abatuuze bagezezaako okuwamba abantu bano okuva ku poliisi babakuba emiggo naye poliisi n'etabaganya.
Abatuuze mu kabuga ke Busia ku boda ya Uganda ne Kenya basoose kusimba nnyiriri ku luguudo kabakubira poliisi emizira olw'okukwata ababbi abakubye munnaabwe amasasi ne bamunyagako obukadde bw'ensimbi za Kenya 2. Emirimu n'ebyentambula mu kitundu kino bisanyaladde oluvannyuma lw'abavubuka okusiba oluguudo oluva e Busia okudda e Tororo nga bwe basaba poliisi ebawa ababbi bano babeekolereko. Poliisi erabye abantu bagitabukidde kwe kukuba amasasi mu bbanga agabunya abantu emiwabo n'abalala ne baggwa mu mwala. Amasasi gaddiriddwa tiya gaasi asaanikidde ekitundu kyonna okuli ne poliisi y'e Busia. Omusuubuzi yakubiddwa amasasi atwaliddwa mu ddwaliro lya Nabolola e Busia waggiddwa n'atwalibwa mu ddwaliro ekkulu ekkumi okwongera okufuna obujjanjabi. Poliisi egamba yasobodde okukwatako ababbi 3 n'emmundu emu ssaako n'emmotoka ya kika kya Primo mwe babadde batambulira.
And the cash we have 17,100 Kenya shillings in cash. One of the thugs, and who is the commander of this group, escaped with a bag which is believed to be containing the rest of the money. But we are pursuing him. We are sure we shall get this man and recover that money.
NTV Kusawe. Mukabaka Ronald Mwenda Mutebi atongoza kaweefube w'okuzimba ekizimbe ky'essomero erya King's College Buddo. Kaweefube ono atandikidde ku kudduka misinde gya kilomita 10 n'okutambula kwa kilomita 5. Obumbi bwa siringi 3 ze zeetaagibwa okusobola okukola omulimu guno.
Abantu abasoba mu 10 be beetabye mu misinde gino egibadde wali ku kisaawe Kololo nga gibadde gya kwetoola ekibuga Kampala era nga basibuddwa kabaka ku ssaawa 3 ez'okumakya. Abakungu b'emmengo be bamu ku bagyeetabyemu era nga babadde badduka kilomita 10 nga mwe mulina okutambula kilomita 5 eri abo batasobola kudduka. Minisita w'emmengo ebyenjigiriza n'emizannyo Frederick Masagazi Musaazi ategeezezza nti kaweefube ono baakumutwalira ddala mu maaso. Yo gavumenti y'emmengo ewaddeyo obukadde 5.
okwebaza ennyo abazadde n'abawasomyako mu King's College Budo olw'omulimu mulungi n'okwewaayo okulaba nga bazimba ettendekero lya King's College Budo.
Obubenje obw'enjawulo obulumiza abantu basatu ate babiri ne basimatuka. Obubenje bombi bubaddemu bodaboda ku Jinja Road mu Kampala, taxi eremereddwa n'edda emabega owa bodaboda abadde aweese n'agitomera. Ebusega abantu basatu abadde ku bodaboda bawonye okuttibwa loole egaanye okusiba wabula omu katono akutukeko ekigere.
Ku Jinja Road mu Kampala, taxi erabika ng'ebaddeko ekikyamu eremereddwa okulinnya akasozi n'edda emabega owa bodaboda abadde aweese omusaabaze atomedde taxi ne bagwa wansi omu n'azirikirawo.
Tubadde tuva wansi nga tugoberera taxi eyo kale fena nga tugenda naye nga side eri waliyo trailer kati olw'okuba nti wabaddeyo trailer owa boda n'ataagala kuyite kati motoka eno olutuse waggulu bweti yo nedda advance mu misinde ate.
Driver wa taxi ne conductor babuuseemu ne badduka. Abantu abatono abagibaddemu ne basigala nga bibasobedde eka ne mu kibira. Abamu ku babaddewo bagamba driver wa taxi agenderedde kyakoze.
Oba abadde akaayanye naye ayagadde kumutomera.
Akabenje akalala akabadde Busega ku Nkulungo. Loole ebadde etiisa omusenyu bwegaanye okusiba n'egoya pikipiki bbiri ezibaddeko abantu.
Sebo kanengana okusiba okubalamiriza bweki nejjetwambala omwe n'abadde wano yenga lwanyisa nwanyise
ababaddewo balabye omukazi abadde aweekeddwa ng'ava wansi w'emipiira gya loole era tafunyeko bisago abadde amuweese naye asimattuse. Omusajja omulala ekigere katono kikutukeko era atwaliddwa mu ddwaliro e Mengo.
NTV kusaawa mu eddakiika ziri 9 eziyiseeyo ku ssaawa y'emu. Tugenda kukumulamu tukomawo n'ekitundu ekyokubiri tovaawo. Linda omanye lwaki abasajja bakabasanya abaana. Ebusia omukazi atawe n'awangudde empaka z'okulya.
The message yali ku the last piece of a jambia yali muhadi wayo
no bloody way holy moly.
We've just met, how can I be your friend? Mr. Rashmond okuzimba ennyumba nga kintu kizibu nnyo banange mugumire mu bupangisa.
I'm called Olar Oton. There's no English name, just like resistance, Yakazol.
I blame you. You have option of getting international husband. Why do you get it local?
New time.
Ideally, we all have the right to express our opinions and views truthfully and openly.
Atele long tugenda katongole mbukasam.
Kampala bwerere! Mwansomu! The bus!
The discussion is still going on in the bus.
Tulina okugumira challenges ezimu bwe tuba tulina okugoba abatembeeyi mwami Lukwago agumanga abatembeeyi mugende. No, mbadde ndala kunyonyola omukulu. Mbadde ndala kunyonyola omwami yagambye nti Meya Lukwago ye meya omutuufu.
Gavumenti ekutte Lukwago emunyigira mu nsonga takyekyusa.
Welcome back to Minibus Kyogereko.
Singa omusajja abankwana nga njagala sifa ku kya ssente. Wabula nfa ku mbeera ye yisa.
Alimba ono.
This is Minibus
Kyogereko.
Bwene embeera y'abasajja bano
Essuubi nga lyakuggwamu maama.
bano abasajja abanaatera n'okujja kusigiriza ffe ekiro basituleko emiwumbo gy'emmere bagitwale.
Sogera byange. Kibanda bana bagamba bweyagala nkubulira ebyange ja tugende emyanzi.
Mpulira banyumya babeera bakujerega waliko omusawo w'ekinnansi. South Africa baba bakujerega obituufu.
Baba banjerega. Oyo mufere mubbi yennyini yeetaaga miggo.
Omuntu wa bulijjo tomuzannyirangako abeeranga vulo edomera y'abasajja bano
essuubi nga lyakugwamu mama
bano abasajja abanaatera n'okujja kusigiriza ffe ekiro basituleko emiwumbo gy'emmere bagitwale
sogera byange kibanda bana bagamba nga bagamba ne bwegala nkubulira ebyange jatugenda emyanzi
mpulira banyumya babeera bakujerega waliko omusawo w'ekinansi South Africa baba bakujerega obituufu
baba banjerega oyo mufere mubbi yennyini yeetaaga miggo
omuntu wa bulijjo tomuzannyirangako abeeranga dormant volcano.
No one feels the motherland like we do.
NTV ku ssaawa emu katugende mu maaso n'amawulire amalala. Omupiira kujjukizaako mpoozi wakati wa Uganda Cranes ne Harambee Stars e Kenya gugenda maaso wali e Nambole. Goal ekyali emu ya Cranes ate Kenya tennaba kuteebayo. Abasibe abasinga abali mu makomera aga kuno emisango gye baliko egya Nnaggomolo okusinga gibeera gya kukabasanya baana. Buli mwaka abaana abakabasanyizibwa beeyongera ekiraliikiriza abazadde n'abataakabanira eddembe ly'abaana. Abaana basigala mu bizibu binene omuli embuto, endwadde n'okubonaona ebitundu eby'ensonyi. Omuntu waffe alina engeri gy'agenda okulambula ensonga eno.
Kate Nandi yakulira ofiisi y'abaana n'amaka mu Kampala n'emiriraano era ng'atuula ku poliisi enkulu mu Kampala. Emisango egisinga egy'abaana gy'atera okufuna be baana abakabasanyiziddwa era ng'olunaku afuna abaana abali wakati wa 3 n'abana.
We batuukira ewange oluusi baba bajja kulopa bataata baabwe era mulimu abalina eruzira abaana abaasobola okuloopa oluusi bamaama b'abaana be baloopa.
Nandi ensonga y'okukuuma omwana omuwala obutiribiri agissaako nnyo essira.
Wakati wa waka ne ku ssomero bamukwatirawo abo basitwenja n'abantu b'omu makubo kaabe wa bodaboda kaabe wa taxi kaabe kondakita ne ku ssomero abaana banne basoma nabo bamukwata abasomesa bamukwata n'awaka waakulidde wennyini olabira ddala nga ne taata bw'asobola omukwata baganda be bamukwata abantu b'eŋŋanda zaabwe babakwata.
Okusinziira ku alipoota ya poliisi abaana abasoba mu 750 be bakabasanyizibwa mu mwaka gwa 2010 kyokka nga mu 2011 beeyongerako nga bali eyo kumpi mu 8. Abaana bakwatiddwa be baba abato ennyo batera okufiirwa zinnabaana zaabwe abalala ne bafuna obulwadde abamu okulongoosebwa olw'embeera embi gye babeera bayiseemu n'abalala okuvaayo n'embuto.
Omuntu aba bamusobezzaako atera okufuna atamanyisibwa nnyo kwegamba awulira nga omubiri gwe bagwonoonye ekirala nti yabeera n'obusungu bungi kubanga bamusobyako ng'akyali muto.
Abakugu mu by'emito bagamba nti abakwata abaana babeera n'ekitali kituufu okusikirizibwa omwana omuto. Kino bwe kiba kirabiddwa nga bukyali omuvubuka asobola okubudaabudibwa.
Ate oluusi kiba nti aba ayagala kuba nti ali mu control nga bwaneegatta n'omuntu gwe benkana naye emyaka awulira nti talina control.
Kyokka ekyennaku ekiriwo abazadde batera nnyo okwebalama ensonga z'okwegatta mu baana ne bakula n'emize gino so nga kiba kizibu okugibajjamu nga gibakuliddemu.
Kuba bazadde tebakyalina budde babeera n'abaana baabwe akeera 12 kgenda kukola akomawo kiro.
Irene Namyalo,
NTV ku ssaawa emu. Oluvannyuma lw'abantu abamu okubba ssente mu ofiisi ya Ssaabaminisita, abakulembeze okuva mu bitundu by'e Karamoja baagala ssente eziva mu bagabi b'obuyambi nga z'e Karamoja zigende butereevu ku disitulikiti okusobola okwewala okuzibulankanya. Bagamba nti kyagezesebwako dda ekintu kino ne wataba kwemulugunya nga bwe guli mu ofiisi ya Ssaabaminisita ennaku zino.
Okusinziira ku bakulembeze bano okuli bassente ba LC5 ba RDC ne bakaawo bagamba nti kiba kyangu gye bali okulondoola ensimbi zino singa ziba ziweerezeddwa ku disitulikiti zaabwe.
I call upon the donors to bring their money through government to direct to the districts.
Mu birala bye baagala mwe muli okutondawo ministry yeetongodde ng'eneekola ku nsonga za Karamoja eve mu ofiisi ya Ssaabaminisita.
So that we can account to our people and the government centrally through RDCs and so forth can monitor us to see what happens.
Abakulembeze bano banokoddeyo ezimu ku zi project ze bagamba nti wadde nga ensimbi ez'okuziddukanya ziraga nti zasasaanyizibwa wabula ezimu tezimalirizibwa nga wadde okutandikibwako. Muno mwe muli okuzimba amayumba g'abantu mu zi disitulikiti omusanvu ezikola ekitundu kya Kalamojja ko kubayirira ente zaabwe ezabbibwa mu biseera by'obusambattuko.
Each house to cost 300 million. But what you see in reality, 15 million can do that house in Karamoja.
Basabye gavumenti eteeke ku nninga bonna banokoddwayo mu bulyake buno okusasula ensimbi ezigambibwa okuba nti baazeddiza kyokka nti naye nga zirina okugenderera abantu mu Kalamojja.
The recoveries must be done for the people of Uganda because this money our children, our grandchildren will pay. So we must recover from whoever is found wanting.
Bino bibadde mu kubaganya birowoozo ku nsimbi ezaaweerezebwa mu buli disitulikiti ezisangibwa mu kitundu kya Kalamojja n'ebyo bye zaakola ng'ekigendereddwamu kwe kuvaamu n'ekiwandiiko nnamutayika kye bajja okwanja eri Paalamenti. Julius Senkandwa, NTV
ku ssaawa emu. Ebusiya yeriyo omukazi atawena awangudde abasajja 3 mu mpaka ez'okulya abeeyo ze batera okunyumirwa. Aisha Kato wa myaka 30 guno gwe mulundi gwe ogwasoose okwetaba mu mpaka zino ez'ebyafaayo. Yalidde ebintu nga ebindaazi ebiwerako, amagi, chapati nga ziizo, pakiti za biskuiti ezaweze ne soda gwe yawuutiriza ebintu bino bye yaliridde mu ddakiika 5. Empaka zino zabadde ku ssomero eriyitibwa Integrated Primary School abavubuka gye babadde nga bakuza olunaku olw'okukola emirimu egy'obwannakyewa.
Tutandise
NTV ku ssaawa emu eyo omukyala Aisha Katonga banne bamukubira obululu awo. Ennaku zino abantu abamu bagufuula mulembe okuyita abantu abangi mu kwanjula. Ekintu ekyo teyali mpisa ya kuno gatako n'ebirala nga amazina n'ebirabo ebibeera mu kwanjula eyo. Waliwo abantu betwogeddeko nabo ku nsonga y'okwanjula nga bwe kwandibadde mu Ssengo badde gwe.
Nga bulijjo mu mbozi yaffe eyasinga obadde gwe. Leero tuli wano mu paaka y'e Namayiba. Tugenda kukyesa ku mulamu okugamba nti ddala singa obadde muntu ng'ogenda kwanjula. Wandyagadde okutwala abantu bameka era ensonga lwaki otwala abantu mu muwendo gwo b'osazeewo?
Olw'obufuna bw'ensawo yange nekirala ne gye ndaga tomanya omanyi abantu bayitira mu kifo abangi n'ebintu bibula so nga ate mu kubula kwabyo bw'oba n'abantu batonotono omanya nti gundi yaliko yakitutte tuva amanya gagendeko n'abantu baki batono.
Watujja kusitula eno abantu 10 nga n'ebukoto eri kye watwalayo kye mugenda kukola ki kulya. N'ekirala okwanjula kw'ennaku zino nze kunsobedde kwegamba n'omuntu omwavu ennyo agamba nze sijja kwanjula kwegamba baleeta abantu ng'ebyalo oba bimeka ne bakola emikolo ne gibanga kijjukira obwavu bukyatukola ki bukyatuluma esente mu lunaku olumu esente ezigenda awo tezibalika naye ng'ate olusi mugenze mu bintu bwe mutyo sente muzoononye mukyapangisa akazigo kamu.
Naye wogenda n'abantu nga bangi ne pata eriko abantu abangi ennaku zino tezikyanyuma pata enyuma kuliko abantu batonotono bosobola okutuuka eri ne mwegazaanya ne muli ekimere nga kyekyo n'empombo ne zibamala obulungi.
Kuba nze mba njagala abantu bangi ng'abantu nga 50 bankaaga.
Lwaki?
Anti beba gy'emikwano gy'omuntu gye bisobola kusanyusa omukolo gwa mwanawo.
Nalowooza nti kwetaaga abantu 30 okusinziira omuwendo okulaga eka gy'ova obuntu bulamu bw'olina mu bantu mu mikwano gyo obusobozi 30 gali badde tegakalubiriza nzida zombi okulaga gy'ogenda okwanjula nti oli muntu w'abantu.
Uganda olwaleero nga bweyimiridde omwana ng'ajja kwanjula nali agadde ajje n'abantu 50. Olwa Uganda olwaleero naye baali badde nga 3 ng'emaga gye tuvudde naye nze nga nze saali agadde nnyo baleete ebintu bibatasobola ebitajja mu nfuna yaabwe.
Kisinziira ku nsawo y'omwami wange beefaanana etya, ssente afuna atya. Bw'abanga afuna bulungi ssente era tuleeta omuwendo ogusoboka okuleeta nga bawerako.
Ate bano betuulira abagamba bayinza n'okuba nga ssente bazirina. Naye atwagala abantu nga bataano bokka.
Nze singa abanga yenze mba njagala abantu bajje balabe omukolo gwange gutambudde gutya abawera.
Abantu bano bonna mubawulidde endowooza zaabwe. Leero tubadde tulina ku mulamwa gwe tugamba nti ddala singa oba badde ng'ogenda kwanjula oba bagenda kwanjula wali agadde kutwala abantu bameka era ensonga lwaki. Endowooza z'abantu bano zonna muziwulidde. Zeddini Lubo Wasaava mwebale nnyo mwena abateeseza.
Singa obaddekwa.
Wamalidde nga ziri 22 eziyise ku ssaawa emu. Tugenda kumulamu tukomewo n'ebyemizannyo tovaawo.
Embeera y'abasajja bano
essuubi nga lyakuggwamu maama.
Bano abasajja abanaatera n'okujja kusigiriza ffe ekiro basituleko emiwumbo gy'emmere bagitwale.
Sogera byange kibanda bana bagamba nga bwegala nkubulira ebyange ja tugende emyanzi.
Mpulira banyumya babeera bakujerega waliko omusawo w'ekinnansi. South Africa baba bakujerega obituufu.
Baba banjerega. Oyo embeera y'abasajja bano
essuubi nga lyakuggwamu maama.
Bano abasajja abanaatera n'okujja kusigiriza ffe ekiro basituleko emiwumbo gy'emmere bagitwale.
Sogera byange kibanda bana bagamba nga bwegala nkubulira ebyange ja tugende emyanzi.
Mpulira banyumya babeera bakujerega waliko omusawo w'ekinnansi. South Africa baba bakujerega obituufu.
Baba banjerega. Oyo mufere mubbi yennyini yeetaaga miggo. Omuntu wa bulijjo tomuzannyirangako abeeranga dormant volcano.
Bwemba mukkiriza nina takuwa mugiyita.
Ate takuwa gobeera mugoberezi. Tolowooza nti muli mulimo oyogerera omusiraamu senga naakubuuza nti Katonda yagamba atya.
Oba oli pastor ng'okyawa olimba obba oyenda olina abakazi basatu. Please, heaven is waiting for you. One day you'll pay and soon your time is out.
Otiisa mmoni.
Sitiisa nkubuulira Yesu talimba.
Ebintu mbimala mulundi gumu kati what is I love this.
Gwokola byo.
Wegase n'omusajja mutwale mabi.
Oyogerera omusiraamu senga naakubuuza nti Katonda yagamba atya.
Oba oli pastor ng'okyawa olimba obba oyenda olina abakazi basatu. Please, heaven is waiting for you. One day you'll pay and soon your time is out.
Otiisa mmoni.
Sitiisa nkubuulira Yesu talimba.
And love ballads on Friday.
You're like a dream come.
The beautiful sound of music only on NTV, your official music station. Africa on Thursday. It's more than just good music.
God is able to do just what he said he would do.
It's uplifting, intimate praise and worship. Featuring the latest in gospel. To exploring the word and sharing with Uganda's top gospel artists.
I am one of those most celebrated gospel artists in East Africa.
GXP is your one stop for encouragement and blessings.
Praise and worship is a strong component on GXP.
Every Sunday only on NTV, your official inspiration station. And love ballads on Friday.
You're like a dream come true. Just wanna be with you.
The beautiful sound of music only on NTV, your official music station.
NTV kusawa emu mu byemizannyo empiira gya Sekafa mu final egenda maaso kati Uganda Cranes ezanya ne Harambee Stars. Cranes ekyalina goolo emu. Enkalu ziri wali zibanoonya obukongovule mu kisaawe e Namboole. Omupiira ogwasooseewo okulonda kwakwata ekifo ekyokusatu. Zanzibar yakubye Tanzania penalty zabadde 6-5. Zanzibar bwetyo mu za Sekafa omwaka guno ne bange ekutte ekifo kya kusatu.
The sheer determination of not having been conceded at all to get into the quarterfinals and now playing in the final and wanting to prove themselves. Oh, this is a big take for the Uganda Cranes trying to get it onto the right side, and then now in the box the chance for a shot. The deflection is by the Kenyan defender, puts it in the net. It will be credited to Anthony Kimani, the Kenyan captain, but the shot was taken in the box there. Okwi providing it, and I think it's Sentongo puts it in the net. The white flags are flying high. Tries to ball a Vatsa forward. He's got it behind the ball. This one gets a poster. Coaches say that people lose a lot of concentration, and this will be a yellow card. This has gone in by hand.
Emu ne dakika 28 tugenda kulaba entebereza y'obudde olunaku lw'enkya. NTV kusawa emu nayo bwetyo bwegenze mwebale nnyo okubeera naffe okuva eri yonna gye twatandikidde. Amawulire amalala gajja kuba gajja ku ssaawa 3 eyebeera NTV Weekend Edition. Abagenda mu mikolo mutuuke bulungi, abavuddeyo mukulike eyo. Tabbulu ziba nnyingi mu mwezi guno ogw'e12 oba Ntenvu, naye waliwo n'ebintu ebirala ebitera okwetobeka waawo. Anti bagamba wali ekirungi n'ekibi tekibulawo. Obubenje naddala n'obumenyi bw'amateeka. Abaana abo ababooda piki ezo ze mutuulako mubajjukize ntwala mpola kikulu nnyo kuba tolina kyogoba isigaddeyo ennaku ntono tumaleko omwaka guno bw'ozifiiramu mu ngeri etyo ey'ejjenjeero kiba kibi nnyo, tuba tukufiiriddwa. Kale okutuusa awo olunaku olw'enkya mbaagaliza kubeera bulungi, musule bulungi.
Feel my soul come alive. Memories flooding back. I climb the hills of Chikese. I see the walls of Chibu. I hear the roar of the lion. The lion in me. Roaming from the source of river Nile down to the falls of Lechazan. Oh, let me see. the hills of Chikese. I see the walls of Chikese. In the time of tribulation.
This is NTV.
Combination here, y'all. Feel it. The revolution will be televised. Feel me?
Come on. She with shampoos a lot. Several mornings she shampoos my locks. Always have my back, she stand true to that. Real time. type of loving, thank you for that. Yo, run barefoot without no shoes and socks. Cause she keep herself clean, man, I got catch no rush. And she love me for real, man, I feel have no cash. And any little thing and from a splish, she splash. Yo, all this blinging is like you forgot. Use cheddar as the bait, then you recruit the rat. So we listen couple speech of Martin Luther chat. Dennis Brown, Bob Marley and some super cats. Yo, it seem like she live upside the Duke shop. Cause she don't have a scratch, it's only beauty spot. When one duty start is when one duty stop. 1 9 to 5, 1 5 to 12 o'clock, you see me?
Here, y'all. Feel it. The revolution will be televised. Feel me?
Come here, she with shampoos a lot. Several mornings she shampoos my locks. Always have my back, she stand true to that. Real type of loving, thank you for that. Yo, run barefoot without no shoes and socks. Cause she keep herself clean, man, I got catch no rush. And she love me for real, man, I feel have no cash. And any little thing and from a splish, she splash. Yo, all this blinging is like you forgot. Use cheddar as the bait, then you recruit the rat. So we listen couple speech of Martin Luther chat. Dennis Brown, Bob Marley and some super cats. Yo, it seem like she live upside the Duke shop. Cause she don't have a scratch, it's only beauty spot. When one duty start is when one duty stop. 1 9 to 5, 1 5 to 12 o'clock, you see me?
This is NTV.
The date was 21st July 2012 when the late Honorable Michael Oromite passed on. The Usuk County lost a leader and hero. Fresh in Parliament, the beloved Michael said goodbye to his constituents who saw him as a father and son at the same time. As the mourners looked around for their next hope, his 19-year-old child became the answer they were looking for.
Hello, this is Life Stories. My name is Justine, your host, and I warmly welcome you to the show. As we celebrate 50 years of independence, something makes this year even more special. The female in Uganda has come a long way. Can you believe that a 19-year-old female was trusted by thousands of voters as their honorable member of parliament? I know you know by now who I'm talking about. That is only and only Honorable Proscovia Oromite. You have so many questions for this lady, and your answers are going to be answered in this show.
Proscovia Alengot Oromite was born in Katakwi district on the 1st of January 1993. Her home area is Usuk. The people of Usuk watched the little girl grow right before their eyes. Little did they know that she would lead both the young and old in a few years to come.
Here's Honorable. Good evening, Madam.
Good evening, Justin.
How is your day?
My day is great.
Yeah. Welcome back from school.
Thank you.
So tell me about your life growing up, your childhood, your family.
My life has been like any other child growing up.
Meaning?
I've grown up in a family of 9 children. I'm the second born in a family. Growing up was not easy. We're not all that rich. We're just in the middle. I grew up in that family where there was discipline. We were so prayerful. At times I hated praying.
Really?
Although my mom chose me to pray. But I found it so hectic. It reached a point I locked myself in the bathroom.
What religion are you?
I'm an Anglican. But in a family, I'm the only Catholic. Studying in a Catholic school made me convert into a Catholic. And I became so happy being a Catholic. Until now, I go to Catholic church. But I also go to those Anglican churches to have my mass.
So Should I take it that you've always been so independent that you even changed the religion?
Yeah, I've always been so independent since my childhood. And I like the nuns, the way they dressed. But unfortunately, I've not got a chance to be one of the nuns.
Who refused you to be?
I don't feel like being because I need a kid
Okay.
in future.
Okay, please. What were your parents like? Were you pampered? You know, what was life at home?
My dad didn't spare anyone. My dad didn't pamper us. You know, once you fail in class, he could call you and ask you what made you fail. And if you don't answer, it's a punishment. He always told us, first term, second term is for reading, because I need you to pass 23rd term. And once he found you watching television, he was this kind of man who could come and tap on the television and see whether it is hot on the deck and the DVD and see whether it is hot. When he finds it hot, he calls all of you, though you're pretending to read. Says you've been watching. He was this kind of man, when we are watching television, when we hear his vehicle coming, we send a young kid to go and open. Please go and open the gate as we run away. Because for him, education was his first priority at home. He believed by being educated, you can get everything that you want. He really made us read our books. He could even get his old books. Like personally, History 3, European history. Told me, I want you to read. This is the book you're supposed to read. He gave me his novels. I was surprised when he gave me Obama's novel, Mandela's novel. He told me, you have to read them. I'm training you. And besides, you said you want to do mass communication. Why don't you read this? It's your future. And you know what? He could always tell us, if I died, my kids will be educated. Always said, educate a girl child to educate a nation. And he always loved all his children. And he always praised the girls.
Tell me about your mother.
My mom is a businesswoman too. She's always up and down, but she likes farming. She goes to the village. She farms. She has a lot of acres of land where she can farm. She mostly sometimes spends her time in the village. I think she prefers staying in the village than staying in town.
Tell me about your life when your father was in politics.
I wasn't so braggant. I took others the same. I didn't raise up my status because my dad was an honorable. Because I know and I knew I belonged somewhere else. So I didn't raise up my status. Because my dad always advised us, his wealth is his wealth. Study for your wealth. So I was also struggling so hard when I was at school. I could always click, my wealth is my wealth.
Proscovia has had a passion for leadership since her early days in school, where she held different leadership positions.
What kind of life did you live in school as regards leadership?
I was a leader from primary. When I was in Chigul Girls Primary School, I was first appointed a class montress. From a class montress, time for campaigns reached. I went and contested as a library prefect. I became one of the library prefects. And you know, those kids feared me. I could always wear this tough face. If you don't do what I'm telling you, I'm not your friend. And then in Gangeses, I joined a journalism club. It was so interesting being there. Being in a primary school where they gave me opportunity to read news, I said, why don't I extend this to where I'm going? I went in Gangeses. I introduced a new style of reading news, and everyone liked it, and I could always read news on a daily basis. When I left Gangeses, when I went to PMM Girls School, I joined the Lit Writers Club. The Lit Writers Club, I was an anchor, an editor at the same time, and a news writer. Everyone, the first day I went to school, I joined a club. Our patron was like, why don't you read for us news today? I went with a new style of reading.
So can you just give me a small demonstration of your intros when you're starting to read news?
Oh, good evening, dear listeners. Today with you, I'm Aling with Proscovia. This is the national and international news, proudly brought to you by the Journalism Club. News headlines.
I guess that was interesting.
Yeah.
The late Honorable Michael Oromite was a people person even way before he got into active politics. Proscovia moved around with her father as he visited different people and places. What Proscovia is today really is credit to the bond created between father and child.
Proscovia, when did you think of joining politics? National politics, not school prefect.
Now, when I sat with my dad, you know, I always went with him to the village. Could tell me, will cook for me in the village? I told him, I will. Please, I'll go with you. So we could sit in the living room. You know, we always take 2 people in a big house. We could sit, and I tell him, I would like to become a politician like you. Then he told me, I could just go and serve my people for 216, 221, I become an LOC5. You can maybe contest for Usu constituency. I told him, that's a good idea. So long as you can do what these people want, and I can also join there. So I always told him, even way back when I was still a young girl, I always told him, I admire those MPs.
You were 9 children, but you're talking about this closeness that you and your father had.
Yeah.
Were you his favorite?
No, I wasn't his favorite. You couldn't know my dad's favorite. But because I loved him, and I wanted to always be there, and you know, the rest were at school, and who always could cook for him in the village when he's there? It was me, because I was the elder girl. I really wanted to be close to him. I wanted to know what he's doing, what's all politics about, because I was more interested. So I became so interested in politics way back, and I could always speak to my dad, and he always got my idea, and he liked it. So when he passed on, I saw everything was left behind. All what he had talked in his manifesto was left behind, undone. I said, what can I do? There's no one who will complete what his manifesto was. Why shouldn't I contest? It happened that after his burial, I picked up interest. No one told me. But I moved and asked someone, what does it take to contest as a member of parliament?
And who was that somebody?
I asked Honorable Susan Amero. I asked her, what does it take to stand as a member of parliament? She told me, Senior 4 certificate and Senior 6. I was like, I can. Why can't I go? I received so many scary. You know, when I said I'm going to contest, some minimized me. She's young, she can't do anything, she can't speak, she doesn't know the language. I speak my language fluently. I went and contested. I had the courage. I said, I've been a leader. I've been reading news in a crowd. Why can't I? The crowd will not scare me.
But you know, Proscovia, the closeness you had with your father, I have a soft spot for all fathers because I have a soft spot for my father. I love him that much as well. But you know, when somebody has lost their father, I imagine that at that time particular, they are so broken that not so many things make sense to them.
Yeah, I was really broken. Right.
Those were 2 peak points.
Yeah.
Losing a father and joining politics. Happening at the same time. How did that be?
Losing is something else. Yeah, we lose and we mourn. Though you mourn, he will never come back. He's gone, he's gone. I mourned, I felt so heartbroken, but I had to be strong. And being strong in all the family, and as I told my dad, I'll always do anything to see that we, the family, move together. Remember, before him passing, I had told him, I would like to be an MP. I'll even take over you. I'll take over your footsteps. I said in my heart, why can't I go? This is a chance for me. Without mourning, without feeling so heartbroken. But this is the way I will help these people. The people of Katakwi said, we shall not vote anyone unless it is from that family. I just had to go and contest. Because I feel like he had left behind what the people needed. Because I believe my cry is the cry of my people.
How come you're that passionate about these people?
You know, I always went for my vacation. Always went for my holidays back at home. You know, I like that village life. I like staying in the village. It was more free. Always pronounced village. Even when I worked for DTB Bank and Jubilee Insurance, I said I can give up. I went and worked in the village in some radio station called Joshua FM because I believed my life is in the village. When I told him I could one time become an MP, then I started achieving my dream. I said, why can't I be in the village all the time? And you know, I became more popular and everyone liked me. Even when I used to read for them the news, even when I used to work on that. So you
went to the village to strategize? Or because
yeah,
you loved the people?
I loved the people. I loved them. And you know, no one believed that I could work in the gardens. Or it's dark. Or it's, you know, time for growing the genets. I always went there in the garden. I was like, I'm working. And everyone knew this girl is hard working. I always went to those deep villages to look for firewood. Though my dad bought the charcoal. But at some point, we needed firewood. I always went in the bush with my cousins, with other people.
All right, Honorable, we shall take it from there. Let's go into a break. You're still watching Life Stories. We are with Honorable Proscovia Alengot Oromite, the Honorable Member of Parliament of the Usuk constituency. This lady is only 19 years old and she's already representing thousands of people in the August House of the Ugandan Parliament. We're going to take a short break and we'll be back in a moment. Welcome back from the break. You're still watching Life Stories with me, Justine. Thank you for being a part of the show. We continue with the amazing story of Honorable Proscovia Alengot Oromite.
Proscovia cannot describe the pain she experienced when her best friend and role model's life ended in a blink of an eye.
What happened to your father? Because his demise was more of immediate. It was sudden.
He wasn't sick. He was well. I think I remember the last time I spoke to him was on a Thursday of that very week. I told him, Dad, I'm going to market for Jubilee Insurance. I'm going to market for DTB in Sorority. I've been given transport and I need some money from you. He was just lying in the sitting room. It was very normal because whenever I checked his okay, whenever I went for medical checkup, always told us he's well, he's not sick. It happened by the time he was going to the constituency. He was going to help the people. I was only just given a call. I was in Sorority town because they had told me he was going to come and have a talk show in Voice of Teso, in a top radio. So, for him, on his way, he was well, he was with the driver. He told the driver, I'm feeling headache. just felt a small there, and then the driver rushed him to the hospital. From there, he was put on drip. When he was put on drip, he then passed on. Neither did he say anything. He didn't talk from the time he fainted. End of his life. He died that very day at around 3. I was given a call at 5 in Soroti. But from that time, I was unsettled. Because the person you talk to, all of a sudden dies. It left me in silence and in shock. It was really unbelievable, but I had to believe.
There were reports of foul play, So some people suspected that, there could have been some foul play. Did this ever come to your mind?
Yeah, it did. Actually, it came to my mind. But some things you just have to keep quiet. You listen and it pass. They say God gives and God takes. I don't blame anyone for having taken his life. That there is rumor that is going on. Someone took away his life. But as a Christian, I believe in the Bible. Everything happens for a reason.
So today we not only celebrate you, but we celebrate your father and his good works. And tell me about that moment when news was broken to the people, his voters, his subjects, his friends, that he is gone.
It was really a sad moment. People were like, how can this happen? What really happened? There were a lot of questions crossing over and over. People were too sad. People were like, who else will save us? Who else will come back home? Because for him, we visited almost after a week. He went to the constituency to see the people. After a week, he never missed any burial. He never missed any function. He always contributed, unlike other politicians who have come from the constituency. It was really a sorrowful moment. It was really painful, but there was nothing to do.
When all was said and done, Proscovia's father was laid to rest. Proscovia says she lost her strongest anchor in the ocean of life, but ironically, at the same time, she grew 100 dreams older. With her father's people at heart, she felt a calling that was beyond description.
Your father was in this position, and the only way you got there is after his death. Didn't that make you feel guilty? Did it make you feel like you're getting an opportunity out of your father's death?
It didn't make me guilty. Yeah, because it was just an abrupt death. Why should I be guilty? Because I'm not the one who killed him, and because of my dreams. I wanted to make him happy wherever he is by doing what he left behind. Yeah.
So have you, in any instance, ever felt like your family personalized this?
There are people say they will not vote anyone who is not from my family. So I was like, I told my mom, you know what? I can't make it. Why can't I go?
With what had just befallen the family, Proscovia's mother, as well as the other family members, did not think of politics at all. Proscovia's brave spirit managed to convince her family.
So what was your family's reaction when you told them that you're getting into politics, especially that particular position?
When I told my mom a week later, she first sat behind and laughed. And then told me, why do you want to go for this? Do you want to die? I told him, no one will live long on this earth. Let me go. I want to face the challenges. I want to see the challenges in politics. And besides, the biggest thing is to complete the latest manifesto and dreams. Then I can come back and achieve mine and do something for the people of the constituency. That's after doing his. She let me go. So they were scared. You might be murdered. You might be killed.
They were scared for your life.
They were scared for my life. But you know, the only challenge I gave them is the Lord God is there. If He wants me to die, I will die. But if He doesn't want, I will not. I'll either lose or win. But I don't believe in losing. I'll always win. I'm always a winner. That's what I told them. And they left me.
The lioness in Proscovia decided to put the pain aside and get ready for battle. Proscovia had a goal to make Daddy smile from above, but also the people of Usuk were a soul tattoo in Proscovia's heart.
You were telling me that at some point you let go of the past and decided to chase the position of Honorable Member of Parliament for Usuk constituency. So did you do it for your father, or because of your father, or you actually did it because it was your dream?
Partly I did it for my father, and partly I did it for myself. Because my father fought for the way these people is suffering, and the same to me. My people are my people. The people of Usuk are suffering.
How are they suffering?
They take that water, they share it with cattle. No boreholes, no hospitals, no schools. They trek about 200 kilometers, going to get treatment, going to school. The students go to Napak, go to Irir, because they want to get education. So that's what I was chasing, and it's what I'm chasing right now.
The campaign period was so severe that Proscovia wished her father were alive. The insults, hatred, divisions and violence almost put her down, but her unflinching spirit fought on.
So tell me about how you started to plan. Did you call village meetings? Did you lobby? How did you put yourself out there?
During my start, I stayed in the village. Even after each and everyone left. And then I fell on my dad's file, where I had written all his agents, plus their phone numbers. Sent someone to buy for me credit. Airtime. I spared my little money that I had, about 30,000. I called each and every agent. I told them, please come home, let's share something. They said, what are we going to share? I told them, please come home. They came. We sat together. I told them, do you know why I've called you? They told me no. I told them, I want to contest. I want to achieve something in this constituency. I'm fighting for the people. They agreed with me. Some didn't agree. Some were like, this girl is going to fail. I told them, if you really love the late, then do it for him. I'll not fail. I'm going to win the battle. They came, we mobilized together. And you know, a good number turned up. Or a few refused. But I had the majority. We sat. And I picked a person who was supposed to be the chairperson of the agents. Wrote everything. We made a plan. And I made my plan. Then they announced candidates. I was the first to go to the electoral commission. That I want to be an MP. This registrar, Mr. Omona, just laughed. Said, all right. I said, yes, I'm going. Just laughed. I wrote my name.
So around that time, did your family do anything to protect you, campaigns are hostile?
Yeah,
Did your family do something to protect you? Were you given a policeman? What happened?
No. During my primaries, I always stayed inside the gate. The home is fenced. So, by 5, I'm at home. I went for my primaries and I passed through, being the chairperson of the NRM, flag bearer. I passed through, and now the last battle kicks off. I hardly slept at home.
But before the battle, tell me about the campaigns.
The campaigns.
People campaign day and night. How were
Yeah.
you able to do that?
I did it. I didn't even sit in the car. I said I'm going to be on the motorcycle. If it means coming back late at night, if it means sleeping in the bush, I will. If it means sleeping in someone's home, I will. Because I always said I'm not a loser, I'm a winner. We went to each and every village. I sat and told them, you people, you have to get a leader who will come back home to help. Not a leader who will remain in Kampala.
And what was the reaction of the people?
Their reaction was good. They told me, you're right. If this girl can speak like this, I told them, I'm not a girl, I'm a lady, I'm a big person. I'm about 19. Why should you call me a girl?
None of them scorned you.
There were so many intimidations during that time of campaigns. They really intimidated me. They said she's young. She will not do anything. Besides, she's going to school. How will she come to the constituency? She will only be there. She'll only go to parliament and be lied by other people. People talked propaganda. But I said, I didn't actually hurt out anyone. I didn't even go to the radio stations telling them how this opponent is bad, how this is bad, how this is bad. Not during my campaigns, I only used proverbs to campaign.
Give me one.
You know, I want to give the most funny proverb I used. You know, in my constituency, the Minister of Education and Sports is an MP of the district, the woman MP. Then some were saying, those were opposing me, how can that girl go for politics? She's a woman. The Minister of Education is a woman. I told them, when the cattle is in the kraal, when a bull is mating a cow, what is in front? They told me a cow. I told them, men, give me your votes.
Okay.
Yeah. People were like, thanks for that proverb. And you know, the majority of them were youth. And definitely they had to give it to me. And right now, I'm fighting for the youth. And the
Only?
women. And the old people. Yeah.
Ideally, you should fight for everybody.
I'm fighting for everyone, but mostly the youth.
Okay, please.
Yeah.
Okay, please. Those are very good ideas. What challenged you most?
Did I face? The challenges that I faced were intimidation, actually. There were a lot of intimidation.
All right. Honorable, we're going to take a short break. Congratulations again and again and again.
Thank you.
Okay, when we come back, we continue with that beautiful story. We'll be right back. Welcome back from the break. You're still watching Life Stories with me, Justine. Thank you for being a part of the show. We continue with the story of Honorable Proscovia Alingot Oromite.
When the news broke that Proscovia Alingot Oromite, daughter to the late Michael Oromite, was the new legislator representing the Usuk County, there was jubilation in Usuk, but unspeakable shock in the rest of the country and the world at large. A 19-year-old was going to lead millions, most of them way older than her.
Actually, on that day I just had to sleep. I slept. I wasn't even feeling any pressure. I just went and slept. Until the next day when I woke up in the morning and they told me, you know what, you have won.
So on that day, when you were told that you have been voted the Usuk County MP, what came to your mind? Was it excitement? Was it, did you get emotional because your father had been in the same position before? What came to your mind when you were told that you had won the race of the Usuk County MP?
First. Second, I went to the radio station to thank them. I told those agents, tell everyone to tune to this radio station. I went to the radio station, I thanked them. I told them, people, I'm very happy you have given me your votes. You have entrusted me in this position. I'll do anything I can to help my people. And I believe whoever heard was very happy. What came in my mind else was like, now to begin to help these people. Where will I begin from? That's what came in my mind.
With her landslide victory, the people of Usuk seem to have conceded that this young lady, young as she is, was their hope. Proscovia Alengot Oromite is the world's youngest legislator at only 19 years old.
So, Proscovia, at 19, you have a very big job.
Yeah.
You get a lot of money. Don't you feel like it's the end? Don't you feel like you have it all?
No, I don't feel. You know, with all this suffering, my people are suffering. This money goes to the constituency. It's not mine. I'm like a customer to them. So they sent me to the parliament to work for them, to fight for their needs. It's what I'm doing. When I receive this money, it's not mine.
Proscovia has watched the people of Usuk have the poorest schools, worst roads, unhealthy water for way too long. The person she thought would bring a change passed on hardly 2 years in office. Proscovia dreamt of a model constituency for her people.
That I will give faithful service to the parliament and to support and uphold the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda as by law established. So help me God.
So, Honorable, as you go on with this, you know, there's a lot happening. You're doing school and you're in parliament. It's a good thing. We're celebrating you. You're female and you're young. Beyond that, what do you think is the main purpose for you to be in that position?
The main purpose for me to be a member of parliament is to fight for the people, is to fight for the people of Usuk constituency.
So what plans did you carry with you for the people of Usuk?
Education, health, the roads.
So for the month you've been in this constituency, what has been your contribution?
I set examination papers, which I delivered. Pre-PLOE. I've supplied sets to each and every student. I've repaired boreholes for the constituency. And I'm still doing other things.
And I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Honorable Proscovia Alengot Oromite was admitted to Uganda Christian University Mukono, where she currently offers a degree in Bachelor of Mass Communications. She lives a modest life, does housework, and like any youthful girl, she has her hobbies, which she adventures during her free time.
I like reading novels. I like praying. I like going out with friends and sitting watching television, but adventurous movies and the news, because I need to know what is outside the world. Yeah.
Okay. You know, we were watching your swearing in live, and there's so many, and some of them at thrice your age, and there's a lot of excitement and so much activity going on. Weren't you intimidated?
I wasn't intimidated because those who stood behind me were NRM supporters. And besides, my mentor, Jessica Alupo, she always moved with me. I was happy, though, when I sit and looked where my dad always sat. Those memories always clicked.
Honorable, are there any particular members of parliament that you admire?
Yeah. I admire Okurut, this information minister. I've always admired her way back. Always liked the way she wrote her articles. And I like the way she wrote a story about me during my campaigns. And then always admired Honorable Dongo too. You know those things of walk to work protest. Always liked the way he did them. Beatrice Anywar, Jessica Alupo. And yeah, those are the people I always admired when I used to be out there before joining this politics. And I still like them the way they are.
What do you want people to know you for and to remember you for?
I want people to know me for having done my people in this country and something great for the women in this country.
The youth are struggling with employment, with so many other things. Say something to them.
What I can tell the youth is they just have to be proactive. Don't sit backwards.
Honorable, this year we celebrated our Jubilee, and as we conclude, I can tell you're very passionate about your constituency, but you're an honorable member of parliament. You also represent the rest of the country. What should be done for Uganda to be a better country?
All I can say is let those who are beyond the retirement age sit backwards and let us, the youth, serve the people, because they're the ones occupying most jobs for the youth.
That is what should be.
That's what I want the Uganda of today to be. Let the youth work. Let the old settle down.
You're still watching Life Stories. The Life Stories crew and I are so lucky. We just had breakfast with the Honorable Proscovia Alengot Oromite right here in her residence. Right now, as you can see, Honorable is ready to go. She's starting her day. I don't know, Honorable, are you starting with school or you're heading to office in Parliament?
I'm starting with the school and then head to Parliament.
So Honorable, today is a Tuesday. You're smartly dressed in hot pink and a little bit of silent purple and black. What inspires your look when you're going to work, you know, when you're starting your day?
Actually, I do my arrangements in the wardrobe. I make sure that on Monday, I think I should put on a pantsuit. On Tuesday, I think I should put on this type of dress. And on Friday, you find me putting on a pantsuit and you'll ask me what. I tell you, weekend begins today.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Honorable, how do you manage to balance between work and school?
I try my level best. Though, nowadays I give Parliament a little time of it because I have to give 75% of my studies to the university.
And when do you go back to the constituency?
I always go to the constituency on Thursday because I don't normally have tough lectures on that day. I go on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I make sure I come back. Yeah.
So, hasn't this ripped you of your youth?
No. I'm still a youth and I still have the same behavior like a youth. When I'm with the youth, I behave like a youth. When I'm with the old, I behave like the old.
I mean, are you able to go out?
To go out?
Friends?
No, I used not to go out even when I was still a commoner. I just used to go and pray, read my Bible. I don't even know what a club is.
Okay.
I
But
only dance in
you have a
parties.
Jamaican dancehall ringtone. I was thinking she likes dancehall music.
Yeah, I like that guy very much. Yeah, and besides, I love the music. You know, there is time for everything. There is time for going to church. There is time to listen to this Western music. There is time to listen to the Christian music. And sometimes I listen to the gospel music when I'm in that mood, not a happy mood. And then when I'm in this mood of being jumpy, watch everything, I can listen to that Cushions.
Okay.
Pause.
That is very interesting.
Yeah.
So, Honorable, what package do you have for Parliament this afternoon? I believe the House, you start the sessions at 2.
Yeah.
So, what do you have anything in stock for the House this afternoon?
We are only going to talk about the oil bill, which is going to be passed on Wednesday tomorrow. So, we shall wait for what happens tomorrow.
what do we expect? Is Honorable Proscovia Oromite on the side that says yes, the authority should have all the powers, or on the side that says no, the minister should have all the powers?
Of course, I will always say yes, not no.
Yes,
yeah, because now we're the ruling party.
All right. I love that collective spirit or collective responsibility. So, Madam Proscovia, your semester has moved a little bit. Have your grades, do you have some success in school? Do you really think you can do this? You can keep doing this, Parliament and school?
Yeah. I've not performed poorly. And I think I've not got the worst mark ever. And in UCU, once you don't make the pass mark, you don't sit for your examination. Now for me, I need my level best. I scored my pass mark. I made my attendance. Presenting in class, I did it. And right now, I'm going to sit for my papers, which are next week. Yeah.
All right. Honorable, I need to thank you. Thank you so much for the breakfast you just gave us.
You're welcome.
I wish you a great day ahead. And I guess I'll tune in and see you debating on TV.
Surely you will. All right.
All right. You
have a
good day.
morning. Have a good morning.
Okay, please.
Bye.
A country that has focused youth is a country with a bright future. The story of Proscovia Alingot Oromite is a wake-up call to different entities in this nation to give the youth a chance. It is also a success story of how much a good education and warm parenting can bless a nation. If only we could educate, guide and love every child, young but efficient leaders will not be a surprise. You just heard from Honorable Proscovia Alingot Oromite, the Honorable Member of Parliament for the Usuk constituency. At only 19 years old, she is a Member of Parliament. Unfortunately, her father passed away. We lost him. This country lost a good person, but God always makes another way. We now have Honorable Proscovia Alingot Oromite. These are fruits of liberation. These are fruits of woman emancipation. And also, Proscovia's story is proof that educating a girl means educating a nation. The youth out there, I pray that you pick some strength from Proscovia and choose to carry on in all that you're struggling with, because yes, you can make it. That was it on Life Stories today. I'm Justine, your host. Thank you for being a part of the show. You can still catch the show on YouTube and give us your say on our Facebook and Twitter pages. That is NTV Life Stories. You stay well.
This is NTV. This is NTV.
Good evening and welcome on The Spot. I'm your host, Patrick Kamara. The quality of education in Uganda's institutions of higher learning has over the years dropped from its glorious past, according to employers and older scholars in the country. This situation was recently brought to the limelight by Kampala International University's award of doctoral degrees that were questioned by the National Council for Higher Education. Joining me to discuss this sad state of affairs is the KIU Vice Chancellor, Professor Kazenga Tibenderana. Tibenderana, welcome to the show. You're on the spot tonight.
Thank you.
The question today is not about your capacity to award PhDs, but rather the high number of students, 42 of them, to be awarded doctoral degrees in such a short time. That is what was in contention.
Actually, the number is not 42, but 46.
46, okay. You are actually making it even higher.
I think it was surprising that the National Council for Higher Education should have questioned our capacity to produce 46 PhD degrees. The question of time depends on the arrangements universities make. The way our school for postgraduate studies is organized is quite different from the way other universities in Uganda are organized. Before I went to KIU, I was at Makerere. I know, for example, that Makerere takes long, not because students cannot graduate in a short time, but because the system is extremely inefficient. At KIU, we have quite an efficient system of managing postgraduate school.
How does a professor who talks of a system that is so inefficient in an institution where he has been for years now talks about learning in a system that is so efficient? I mean, what kind of efficiency do you bring from a system you are calling inefficient?
Now, for example, at KIU, lecturers and professors who teach postgraduate students do not graduate teaching. It allows them a lot of time to give attention to their students. Whereas at Makerere, which I know well, students spend a lot of time because their supervisors are so overloaded by teaching undergraduate classes that they do not have sufficient time to supervise their students.
So what you're saying, Professor Tibenderana, that at KIU you have more competence than Makerere University, an institution we thought is more robust and has more capacity in producing PhD doctoral degrees than at KIU you have more competence than Makerere. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I think we are a bit organized. And because we are a bit organized, we can ensure that our students spend a shorter time to graduate than in other universities.
Why do you think that the National Council of Higher Education was questioning the issue of time taken to graduate the students?
I think the problem with National Council for Higher Education are traditionalists. Traditionalists in the sense that it is alarming for somebody to say something which took others 3 years or 4 years is not being done in 1 year and a half, forgetting that today the learning methods are changed. You needed to go to London to read documents. Now you don't have to go anywhere. Somebody can send them, you can just pick them from internet. Now all of these new methods of learning have cut time short. It is not only KIU that people are getting PhDs in 2 or 2.5 years. This is a common practice now. People no longer take 5, 6 years for PhDs.
Hasn't this saga, if I may call it a saga, in a way dented the credibility of the university? Because if students take their certificates out of KIU to Nairobi, for example, what happened, they were not given the attention like other students were given, other people, job seekers were given, because they had presented papers from KIU. Build the credibility of your institution.
Now, I think the quality of a degree does not depend how long it took somebody to get it. It doesn't. The quality of a degree depends on, for example, for PhD programs, the question is who supervised it? what method were used and so on. Who was the examiner, and whether the conventional methods of examining PhDs were followed. Was he external examiner? Was he making a report and the rest of it? And this we did.
Why don't you at this point tell us whether those conventional methods were followed and how they were followed?
Yes, the only problem we have is that there is no universal accepted standard as such. Now, some universities, I have read, for example, a document from Tanzania where they talk about 7 examiners for a PhD candidate. I do not accept that as a person. That's wasteful. What for? All you need 3 competent professional men and women. That should be enough panel to give a PhD. And I don't see why not.
It took a Kenyan minister to be exact, Pius Ababu Namwamba, to come to assure Kenyan students studying here that the degrees were valid. This should not have occurred.
Why not?
If you had done your preparations well, if you had been more prepared and more organized, then they shouldn't have come here.
I think...
because that again...
For example, we have talked about National Council advising KIU not to go award the PhDs. Kasoz talks to me that morning, that Friday morning, and I said we can't stop it. Because as far as I'm concerned, the rules were followed. I am the one who actually said we can't stop. Because whatever requirements of awarding a PhD are required were followed, as far as I know. Now, the problem we have, we don't actually have an accepted standard. So for Council for Higher Education, does not actually have a standard against which it can judge KIU performance. There are no rules which says you must have, a candidate must study for so many years. There is no such a rule.
But now they have decided to put in place a committee to work out improved minimum requirements.
We are very anxious waiting for it.
Mm-hmm. But my question is now, when somebody walks out of the gates of your university with a degree that is going to be questioned in Dar es Salaam and Nairobi, you as a vice chancellor of the university, how do you try to restore the credibility of your institution?
I think the quality of our degrees has been questioned by newspapers, not by ministries of education. And the proof of the quality of a degree does not actually depend on the face of a piece of paper. It depends how does your graduates perform. And we are doing very well.
We have online Mr. Cyrus Semugenyi, Dr. Cyrus Semugenyi, who is a higher education officer at the National Council for Higher Education here in Uganda, but currently he's in Dar es Salaam. And Mr. Semugenyi, in the studio tonight, we have Professor Tibenderana, Vice Chancellor of Kampala International University. If you may, could you tell us what does it take to produce a PhD graduate in Uganda? What does it require?
Mr. Kamara?
Yes, sir.
Can you repeat the question for me? I didn't get it properly.
What would it require to produce a PhD graduate here in Uganda or in East Africa? What are the requirements?
Well, there are 2 perspectives that you can look at it. First of all, that in order for a university to produce a PhD graduate, it must first of all satisfy what I call external statutory requirements. These are requirements that are imposed on the institution by outside the regulatory bodies. In this case, the university must be chartered, the program must have been accredited by an accrediting agency, and the university must have admitted people who meet minimum admission requirements, and the program must have taken the statutory period. In this case, a PhD must take at least 3 years. Those are the external requirements. But also, what is even more important is that the university must put in place internal structures and processes to make it able to channel out to credible PhD graduates. And if you need, I can elaborate on what I mean by internal structures and processes, but for now, I can leave it at that.
Go for it. I mean, elaborate on that, Dr. Sebugenyi.
Okay, what I mean is that the university must put up structures, and some of these structures is that it must have put mechanism in place for its students to be able to network with their peers, not only in their universities, not only in their country, but also outside the country. Because PhDs, unlike other qualification or other programs, that you are training for the global consumption. So these students must be able to network.
Okay, I think we lost the line to Dar es Salaam. We'll get back to Dr. Sebugenyi as soon as we can. And he was trying to build a point on what is required. But we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we get Dr. Sebugenyi back online, and I'll ask Professor Tebenderana here on why he ignored the advice of National Council for Higher Education. He'll elucidate more on why he decided to go ahead, because he had been advised not to award those degrees. Why did he do that? Why did he take that decision? Don't go away. Welcome back. You're watching On the Spot. My name is Patrick Kamara. My guest tonight, the Vice Chancellor, Kampala International University, Professor Kazenga Tebenderana. Before we went to the break, I was asking the question that the National Council of Higher Education had actually advised you to stay their words, awaiting confirmation of their authenticity, a decision which the university ignored. Now you said you yourself ignored. If you can tell us why.
Because we are confident with the system we use it, and we could not see any reason why we should postpone the award. That's number one. Number two, the advice was too late. It was on Friday, the same Friday the degrees were expected to be awarded. Had we been given maybe a week or 2 weeks, we may have considered their decision.
It could also, your statement could also be understood to mean that you had no respect for the National Council of Education.
No, far from it. Far from it.
During a press conference, it was said that the degrees that were awarded are still being scrutinized. How do you respond to that?
Well, the National Council for Higher Education has a responsibility which should be performed. And I support it. In fact, I possibly think they have not been doing sufficient supervision. There are so many things going wrong. Not at KIU, but in many other universities, which are not being. Every one of us wants our degrees awarded by our universities, to be respected. I'm one of them. And in that capacity, I am one of those who would support the National Council for Education to do its work.
As a Vice Chancellor of a university, how do you say that there are so many things going wrong in universities, and yet you are busy, and yet you are saying yours is okay? I mean, how do you get to know that?
Every university.
You have just said you just said right here that there are so many things going wrong,
yes,
and there should be a lot of supervision.
Yes.
How do you get to know there are so many things going wrong in other universities?
Because I have taught in more than 3 of these universities. For your information, I've actually completed a book about university education in Uganda. It should be out of the press in January.
So if
talking about some of these problems.
So many of these institutions full of problems. What kind of what kind of competence does Professor Tebenderana bring?
We attempt to solve these problems. These problems, some are internal, some are external, and there is no institution without problems. Because if there were no problems, you wouldn't actually need vice chancellors.
It was reported, I don't know whether true or not, that among those who got PhDs, there was a student who also doubled as a lecturer.
No, I'm not aware of that. I can't claim to know that.
Is it possible
No,
that a PhD student cannot at the same time double as a lecturer of the same student?
Unless he's a technician assisting in the lab. And, unless it's a super student, I don't know, I don't see how.
So are all your programs approved by the National Council of Higher Education?
The ones we are offering, the 46 PhDs, yes.
So how do you and Nairobi restore the confidence of the people who are coming to study in your university? Because you had to bring a whole Kenyan minister here to come and assure Kenyan students that where you are, the papers you're getting are valid. But is that enough?
It's not enough.
So what is your mechanism? What is your strategy to stay afloat?
Our strategy is to make sure that the students, our graduates, are of the right caliber. We expect them, last graduation, I advise the students wherever they go, they have to prove their competence they have. Secondly, we need to do better, to improve our qualities. Universities, there is no university which has a standards that cannot be improved. We need to improve. Each year should bring improvements. And I'm sure that what we are doing at KIU is to improve every time with the programs. Each year should see improvement. And we hope that through our alumni, we should be able to spread the word that our graduates are competent. Our graduates are performing well, regardless of the problems we have with newspapers. And I would like, I would like to inform your listeners that the problems which KIU seem to have are with newspapers, not with the government. There is no Ministry of Education which has complained to us. I don't have any letter in my file of any ministry in East Africa complaining about our graduates or complaining about our programs.
There was, I think, a graduate who presented a paper, his degree in Nairobi at the Commissioner General of Police, and he wanted a job. And he could not be given that job simply because he had presented a degree from KIU.
Do you believe that?
Well, that was written.
It is written, but
it even brought the Kenyan minister to come here and verify that.
Do you believe it? Who says...
That's why I've invited you here.
If the minister of education in the Kenya government says we accept these degrees, how can anybody go around now say that somebody lost a job because he had a degree from KIU?
Moving forward, there appears to be sort of a disconnect between the education system in the 60s and 70s, the time Professor Tibendana was graduating, and now. And some people are thinking that we are sort of moving backward. What is your take?
No, as I think I have just said, that times are changing. The methods of teaching are changing. The methods of learning are changing. Now, all of these changes, not only do they improve the quality of schooling, but they shorten the period as well. The idea of you have your machine there.
My tablet.
Your tablet. The idea of taking notes, of doing ABC and so on, is no longer. You can study in your office, you can study in the bus, you can study in the taxi. You can study actually anyway, can't you? So the idea, for example, which somebody talking about a PhD taking 3 years, that is time of the past. You no longer need 3 years to do a PhD.
We have people who would like to ask you questions or maybe make comments. And the first person online is calling from Mukono. His name is Michael. Michael.
Thank you, Patrick.
Yes.
I just want to talk about an issue that Professor said.
Yes.
Once the National Council for Education has told you, please, you stay the award of the PhDs I think it was incumbent upon the university to hear. They should have stayed until they waited for the National Council to do its work. I think it's not right for them to go ahead and award the PhDs, and yet the National Council said they should stay it.
Okay. You have made your point. You are saying he should have stayed the awarding following the advice from National Council of Education. Let's take another caller. Colin Agaba from Kireka. Colin?
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much for that program that you're having right now. I agree with you that the problem we are having right now actually is pampering of too much classwork than the real practical thing.
I'm not hearing you very well, and I suppose my guest too is not getting you correctly. Probably you have to... we have another caller from Kansanga. Peace from Kansanga.
Hello.
Yes, please.
I would like the Vice Chancellor to talk about the issue of fines.
The issue of
fines at KIU. Because you find that some of us are doing a low cost and you're paying 1.6, but in the end of it all, you end up paying like 2.5. You get it? Some of us come from poor backgrounds and can't really afford those fines. They're really affecting us, and we have ended up missing our exams.
And next we have Wamboga calling from Mbale. Mr. Wamboga.
Yes, good evening, my friend Patrick Kamara.
Yes, sir.
I'm glad to join you on this program. Patrick, first of all, I think the National Council for Higher Education has a bigger question to answer than the universities that it's supposed to superintend. The question is, at what stage did the National Council for Higher Education know that the Kampala International University has PhD students that are graduating after 2.5 years? What is the quality of the National Council of Higher Education? What is its capacity? What measures does it have and mechanisms to cover the whole country? And if it doesn't, has it presented its needs to the government so that it is able to manage all these 20 or so universities in the country? I think the National Council has more questions to answer because it grants licenses to these spiraling number of universities in the country. So the question is actually supposed to be put to the Council of Higher Education than the institution it supervises.
Thank you, Wamboga. We'll take the last caller in this segment, and it's going to be Shaba from Nadia.
Yes, please. Thank you very much. I am very grateful you have brought us the professor and really Mr. Kamal.
May I ask Chris, my producer, to turn up the volume because we are not hearing some of the of those questions and comments. Could you go ahead, sir?
Mr. Kamal, I'm grateful you have brought us a professor. And Mr. Kamal, I would want to say that times have changed, like the professor is saying. Everything has changed. In the past, we used to have people going for university studying only during the day. Today, we have people who offer evening programs. By then, if you are to introduce evening programs, people would not understand you. They study evening, complete, graduate. People go for weekends, complete and graduate. A lot of things have changed. Methods have changed. We must adopt to the new methods. All else will be left behind.
I agree.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Professor.
I agree.
I'm really in your support.
I agree with you. So many things have changed. We're going to take a break, so when we come back, Professor Tibendarana will answer your questions and your comments. Don't go away. Welcome back. You're watching On the Spot. My name is Patrick Amara. My guest tonight, Professor Kazenga Tibendarana, the Vice Chancellor, Kampala International University. Before we went to the break, you had so many questions and comments that you raised. Professor Tibendarana, go for them.
Thank you, moderator. I am glad that many of the callers seem to agree with us. I would like to comment on the receipt charges. Receipt charges is a common feature of possibly all Ugandan universities. And it is based on the fact that when you pay tuition fees, it is assumed that you will take your papers and you will pass all of them. Now, if you fail one or two, you are charged a receipt fee because it is an extra labor on the part of the university. The university will have to organize lecturers to set the paper and to mark it. And these are paid for those services. And this charge cannot be spread on students who passed their exams. So it is just fair that those who do not do well pay for these extra services that they need to be able to pass.
So they need to be more focused and pass the exams and pass.
You don't have to be
but there are those also who have also complained from other countries that you charge them highly and in US dollars. And that was a complaint also raised in an East African community.
Now, for Uganda, for a Ugandan citizen, education is somehow subsidized by the taxpayer. So while Ugandan students pay less and in local shillings, you do not expect foreigners to pay the same amount, because the question of subsidy by government is taken into account.
Does not apply to foreigners.
Does not apply to foreigners.
Let's get back to the types of PhDs. There are PhDs awarded by doing coursework and dissertation, PhD by coursework and published papers, PhD by monography, PhD by research. What types of PhDs are you offering?
I think we're offering about 3 of those.
3 of these?
Mainly 2. Taught PhD and research. Now, they are quite research and published papers. Monography we don't.
Okay. So, as moving forward, do you think there was a conspiracy to dent your name?
I don't think,
because you seem to be saying everything is okay.
I don't think so. A conspiracy is a very strong word to use. Of course, every institution has enemies. I can't pretend that KU does not have enemies. It does. But until we have seen a report by the National Council of Higher Education, we cannot make that judgment.
In the book you have published, or you're about to publish, what do we expect to find?
We'll find quite a number of beautiful things.
Like
how we can improve our system, more developmental, how we can organize, and so on.
So you agree that public education, and maybe even public university education, is sort of in limbo?
No, I don't say that. I'm not saying that.
You do not prescribe a solution where there's no problem, do you?
Yeah, but it doesn't have to be in limbo. Limbo would mean being asleep. We are not asleep. We may be poor standards, fine. For example, there's no pretense that our UPE is not functioning well.
A system to be resuscitated doesn't mean it is dead, but it means it is somewhere about to die.
No,
so it needs to be resuscitated.
Every system needs some improvement, and that's what is being suggested, that we need to improve. There is no perfect system, so whatever system we have, we need to improve it.
What would you tell the people who would say today, whereas we seem to have had so many universities coming up, we are not producing the same quality of students like before?
Yes, that is true.
What brings that?
Because of the numbers. if a lecturer lectures to 50 students, it is most likely that within
This is NTV.
Good evening, a very warm welcome to Saturday's NTV Weekend Edition. Let the celebrations begin. Uganda Cranes win the Sekafa Cup 2012. We'll be seeking the reactions from the fans on a truly special evening for all Uganda Cranes supporters. And it is on that issue that we'll be seeking your views in our NTV Weekend poll. But first, the headlines.
Chance for a shot, the deflection is by the Kenyan.
Uganda Cranes are the champions as they beat the Harambee Stars of Kenya in the Sekafa Cup final at Nambole Stadium.
As the fight against graft rages on in the office of the Prime Minister, local leaders from Karamoja region are seeking a meeting with the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament to give in their input as far as how much was spent and on which projects. Join me, Julius Senkando, as I bring you what was resolved in today's meeting.
Are you watching your daughter's steps? She might be at risk of being defiled. I am Irene Namialo and we will be examining the increasing numbers of defilement in the country.
The International Cricket Council Under-19 Africa Girls Championship started in Kampala this morning. Join me, Alfred Odong, for the story on how Uganda performed against Botswana.
Once again, welcome to NTV Weekend Edition. I am Josephine Karunji. Uganda Cranes are the champions after clinching their 13th Sekafa Cup title. They overcame the Harambee Stars of Kenya by 2-1 at Nambole Stadium. Celebrations are expected to go on well into the night. Sam Pozawa opens this newscast with a night to remember for the Uganda Cranes players and fans.
The Uganda Cranes started the game as favourites given their tournament record that has seen them go unbeaten with a clean sheet. 27 minutes into the game, Emmanuel Okwi served Robert Sentongo from the right wing before Kenya's defender Anthony Kimani deflected the ball into his own net.
Folks, the chance for a shot, the deflection is by the Kenyan defender, puts it in the net. It will be credited to Anthony Kimani, the Kenyan captain, but the shot was taken.
Kenya almost came back into the game in the 43rd minute, but they were denied by the goal post. At 86 minutes, Edwin Jumba converted Paul Weller's cross to hand the Kenyans an equalizer.
Suddenly the story changes, but it's in the net and the Harambee Stars.
1 minute to stoppage time, Anthony Kimani was a villain again, handling Moses Oloya's cross and gave the Uganda Cranes an opportunity to regain their lead. And indeed, Geoffrey Chizito Baba did not hesitate to head this close-range free kick into the back of the Harambee Stars net and sparked off wide celebrations into the stadium.
And the sea of horns again goes into the air.
Uganda have stretched their record of winning the Sekafa Senior Challenge Cup to 13, 9 more times than followers Kenya, who have won it only 5 times. It is a big night for the Uganda Cranes fans and the players alike. Sam Poza, NTV Tonight.
As the Uganda Cranes clinch their 13th AFCON title, questions are still hanging over Uganda's performance on the international stage and failure to qualify for the Africa Cup of Nations and the World Cup. It is on this issue that we are seeking your views in our NTV Weekend poll, where we are asking, are the Uganda Cranes ready to break into international tournaments? To have your say, text 8778 followed by your name and your location. We shall be reading some of your comments during tonight's newscast. We will be hearing the reactions from Cranes fans in NTV Weekend Sport later on in this newscast. Now moving on, a delegation of Congolese rebels from the M23 group has arrived in Kampala for talks with officials from the Kinshasa government to end the crisis that has led to the displacement of thousands of Congolese. The two warring sides held preliminary meetings to set the ground rules of the negotiations that are expected to start tomorrow. The peace negotiations have drawn in Islamic religious leaders from Congo as well as members of the East African Legislative Assembly.
The peace talks between the DRC's M23 rebels and the Congolese government has brought in new players seeking to help resolve the conflict. The Congolese Supreme Muslim leader Sheikh Mandala Luaba is among a delegation of Congolese leaders who are in Kampala to join in the mediation. The Congolese cleric paid a courtesy call on Uganda's Mufti Sheikh Ramadan Mubaji, who also expressed interest in helping resolve the Congo crisis.
What is taking place in DRC Congo is that they are aiming at soft targets. They are killing women, raping, and killing people who are innocent, just randomly, without segregation. So this is our area. We don't promise them what they want, but we want them to know that they are human beings. They should respect lives of others.
And in a separate meeting, Uganda's East African Legislative Assembly Member of Parliament Mukasa Mbide also called for the inclusion of representatives of the regional parliament in the peace talks.
So what has been handling is the ICG, the International Conference on the Great Lakes region. But the Assembly urged now the East African community to also join in.
Meanwhile, a team of M23 rebels is already in Kampala to hold negotiations with the DRC government that is scheduled for tomorrow. The negotiations will dwell on the 2009 peace agreement signed between the DRC government and the National Congress for the Defense of the People, the CNDP, which is the predecessor of the M23. The rebels say the violation of the peace agreement is the cause of their fallout with the Kabila administration. Chris Ochamringa, NTV.
Leaders at different levels from the 7 districts that make up the Karamoja region have asked government to consider channeling all the donor money made for projects in the region to district councils for effective monitoring and evaluation. The leaders argue that a lot of money has allegedly been stolen by government officials, leaving the intended beneficiaries suffering. They also want an independent ministry to handle all the affairs of the region other than remaining under the office of the Prime Minister. These were part of the resolutions made today after a consultative meeting of all leaders from Karamoja. Julia Senkandwa reports.
The district and local leaders base their argument on the experience they have encountered in some of the projects they have supervised and have never been queried. But the spending of the money, they say, should be monitored by the very leaders on behalf of government.
So that we can account to our people, and the government centrally through RDCs and so forth can monitor us to see what happens.
Their demands are as a result of the ongoing probe into graft in the office of the Prime Minister meant for development purposes in Karamoja region. Some of the cited projects that were meant to be embarked on but were never completed or worked upon as per the plan include the construction of cheaper houses and cattle restocking.
Each house to cost 300 million, but what you see in reality, 15 million can do that house in Karamoja.
It is against this background that they are calling for an independent ministry charged with the Karamoja affairs different from the current arrangement.
They should just stop implementing government programs. They should be overseers of all these ministries.
The other demand made today by the leaders is for government to consider that all the lost money is recovered from the accused persons.
The recoveries must be done for the people of Uganda, because this money our children, our grandchildren will pay. So we must recover from whoever is found wanting.
The leaders were to the meeting to discuss how much money was spent and on which projects. From there, they will make their recommendations to Parliament. Julius Senkandwa, NTV.
Across the border, the death toll from Friday's explosion in a predominantly Somali area of the Kenyan capital, Nairobi, has risen to 5, according to the police. They say at least 8 people were wounded by the blast, including a member of parliament. The explosion near a mosque in the district of Eastleigh comes just 2 days after a bomb exploded in the same area, killing 1.
At the Hidayah Mosque in Eastleigh's Kipanga Thumani Street near Ushirika Estate, This video footage clearly paints a picture of what happened here at around 8:30 p.m. after a blast just outside the mosque. 2 people were killed on the spot as another 3 succumbed to injuries while undergoing treatment in the hospital, bringing the number of dead to 5. 13 other people were injured and are still in hospital, among them the Kamukunji legislator, Yusuf Hassan, who had just finished attending prayers at the mosque. There was commotion following the blast as police quickly swung into action, trying to control the angry crowd. 10 people have so far been arrested in connection with the attack as police continue to conduct a massive operation in Isli. This blast comes just 3 days after another attack at Josta near the Moi airbase. Isli has now become synonymous with such attacks, with residents unsure of their safety. Many of the locals here are of Somali origin who say they have been wrongly blamed for the attacks. The locals now want the government to do more in saving the image of the popular shopping area, which now faces a threat of being shunned by business people. Harith Salim, NTV.
Let's take a short break. When we return, you can expect. NTV celebrates another excellent year as top performing members of staff are recognized. And in sport, Uganda lose their opening game of the 2012 International Under-19 Girls Cricket Championships to Botswana. NTV Weekend Edition continues after this short break. Don't go away.
This is NTV.
The act of lifting term limits was an act of meticulous constitutionalism.
The government of Uganda can't just watch.
This has been told us why he's abandoning his constituency.
I'm saying that the problem is here. Call out the elite. Therefore, this whole issue, I call it nonsense.
Some confusion. You don't need problems in NRM.
We'll take lessons. The stakes in Eastern Congo are very high. There is no law in Uganda that stops even a member of opposition from holding Uganda. Yes, they are. They've been there since the stocks there. They've been there more than any other country.
Term limits was an act of meticulous.
When we meet people who are different from us, we tend to ostracize them.
Enter the taxi, some people get out because an albino. The seat will annoy you.
Yet it is these differences that bring out our individual uniqueness. Fear,
coming between life and death. I was scared.
Despair.
In the battle, I was shot through the head and I lost my eye.
The daily frustrations endured from the people around us are disheartening. But then, the light shines bright on those who are not affected by our differences.
Love
Life stories.
If you want to succeed in business,
look for your talent, prove it.
You should have interest. From day one, I was feeling that I can do something from my own.
If you've been working for people for all this time and all this time, then there should be a problem with you.
But for us, we give you what you want. Feeling that I can do.
My God is good, yo. It's more than just good music.
God is able to do just what he said he would do.
It's uplifting, intimate praise and worship. Featuring the latest in gospel.
Ndi mutuuze mu Kasana Luwero, nyumirwa nnyo NTV njibeerako ku makya, mutuntu, ekiro,
NTV amawulire gaayo tegali mu bulimba baleeta amawulire agasunsuliddwa ddala obulungi n'omanya ebifa mu ggwanga lyaffe ate era ne pulogulaamu eya music eya gospel ennyimba ezo ez'omwoyo zizizaamu amaanyi.
NTV, turning on your world.
Welcome back to NTV Weekend Edition. In our opinion poll tonight, we are asking, are the Uganda Cranes ready to break into international tournaments? To have your say, text 8778 followed by your name and your location. Some of the responses that we have received so far. We have Darren Krise, who says 34 years missing appearing in AFCON and then Sekafa Championship gets us thinking we are ready to play with men. Well, it takes soccer academies, good pitches, a full government support, and more even to fantasize about it. And then we have Bobby Esala Brian, who says, no, I don't think so. The opposition we are facing in Sekafa competition is very weak. I think we should invite more teams outside the Sekafa region, otherwise we are wasting our time. Well, those are your thoughts. Please continue to send them in. We will take a look at some more towards the end of this bulletin. Across the country, the number of defilement cases are seemingly on the rise, with details of horrific cases emerging almost on a daily basis. So what can be done to curb the growing number of cases, and how can our children be better protected? Irene Namialo explores these issues in this week's Topical feature.
Kate Nandi is a senior officer of the Family and Child Protection Unit in Kampala Metropolitan, basing at the Central Police Station. When she's not on official duties like this, she's busy in her office dealing with cases concerning families and children. Top on the list of the cases affecting children is defilement, and the number of reported cases are growing all the time. She receives 3 to 4 cases per day of children that have been defiled.
Others come themselves when it is too much for them, when they've been defiled by their fathers, and not once. It is a daily issue. It reaches a point and it comes up. Others have been brought by their mothers when they reveal to their mothers, and it is too much. And in most cases it has happened to homes where a father and a mother have separated.
She can't emphasize enough the need for parents to protect their children, who she says are at risk at all times.
The parents can even defile them. A father can defile a daughter. A relative can defile. A brother can defile. Even at school, these girls are still vulnerable. Teachers can defile them. They are fond of defiling them. Even the fellow students who are boys, they defile them. Within the distance between the home and the school, they're also being defiled by strangers.
According to the latest police report, 7,564 children were defiled in 2010. And in 2011, 7,690 children were defiled. But most alarmingly is that these figures, which are nonetheless staggering, do not reveal the true picture of defilement in Uganda. These figures do not take into account all the cases of defilement per day that go unreported. The cultural makeup of Uganda is often blamed. The deeply engraved values in our societies where women are seen as subordinates.
It is men taking decisions, men in charge, men doing everything, and women becoming very insubordinate. That has made women powerless, girls powerless. You don't question in most of our cultures. When a man talks, you don't question. When a man, that powerlessness has a contribution towards defilement. And to make matters worse, to even make people silent about it. Because you feel once you've been defiled by a man, you cannot talk about it. So that has a big problem. Of course, the other problem is the law itself. Yes, we have laws, but the enforcement has been a huge challenge.
But what can lead someone to commit such a despicable act?
This could be a problem in the development at an earlier stage. This problem often starts during early adolescence, where the focus goes on to children and not people of the same age bracket. It may continue to develop and grow within the person until later on in the years. It's often rare for the development of pedophilia within the middle age bracket. It's often at the early onset, is around adolescence.
This disorder, if detected early among adolescents, they can be helped through sex education. Unfortunately, parents are not equipped to deal with adolescents.
Without guidance, sometimes youngsters may go astray, and values, the traditional values are ignored, and eventually you start to see a display of abnormal tendencies like defilement.
Parenting in these children is not there, because very early in the morning you move, you go and work, you leave them sleeping, and you come back when they are sleeping. The time to be with your children, so that you give them at least the good cultural morals and the religious morals. You do not have time.
A defiled girl later in life often needs socio-psycho support to try to cope with the trauma.
They feel they have been violated, they feel angry, and then also there is little trust for especially the opposite sex. If they have been defiled by someone of the opposite sex, there is a loss of trust and a feeling of anxiety. It might also impact their relationships and marriages later on.
Government organizations and civil societies have been highlighting defilement in the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. Yesterday, Police Form 3 and 3A were launched, a move intended at bringing justice to the survivors. Irene Namialo, NTV.
I'm joined in the studio tonight by Paul Nyende, a lecturer in the Department of Mental Health and Community Psychology at Makerere University. Welcome to NTV Weekend Edition.
Thank you.
Would like to understand what gets into someone's head to think that defilement is something that's okay.
Defilement is a psychological disorder. It is a mental health problem, and this is a deviation from the normal course of development. The person begins to develop feelings or focus onto children at an early stage, and this occurs often around adolescence. As you realize, as we grow up, we develop a sexual value system, and we internalize what society expects of us as males and as females, and sometimes this goes wrong without guidance, and then you find that the person tends to focus on the child for sexual gratification.
So are we saying that these people are not right-thinking people, or they're disturbed?
Yes, definitely they are disturbed, and that is categorized as a mental health problem, yes.
Okay. What are the signs a parent should look out for that their child is being defiled or has been defiled?
Usually when a child is defiled, there is preoccupation with sexual activity or sexual organs. Sometimes there are signs of trauma, where there is persistent crying, withdrawal, and feeling afraid of adults, and performance going down in school, and anger outbursts. Those are some symptoms that could be of help.
We seem to have more cases of children, girls being defiled by people they know, people they're supposed to protect them, their guardians. Why is that?
Yes, definitely. Many times it is somebody who is very well known to the family, somebody trusted by the family, trusted by the child. We often have the assumption that it is a stranger, and we often tell our children, do not talk to strangers. We'll build high walls, electric fences, guard dogs to protect our children from strangers. Unfortunately, evidence all over the world shows that a greater percentage of defilers are people who are trusted by the parent, trusted by the child. People we hand children over to for safety actually turn out to misuse their position.
Why?
Yeah. It is, as mentioned earlier, a psychological disorder, while the person should be focusing on fellow adults for sexual gratification. This one focuses on the child, and it starts early in time. Okay. Yes.
How do you protect your children as much as is reasonably possible from defilement?
Protecting children, I think the best way is to empower them and get to discuss with them regarding issues of sexual activity. So early timely sex education is critical. Children need to know.
When you say early timely, what is early?
Early should be right from preschool.
Preschool being,
yes.
Give us an age bracket.
This is 3-year-old. They need to know what is good touching and what is bad touching, and that adults shouldn't do certain things to them, and that if they feel uncomfortable, they should be running to you to tell you that an adult has asked me to do A, B, C, D. So we need to sort out what is appropriate for the different age brackets, right through to adolescence.
How do you tell that someone within your reach or someone in your neighborhood is a pedophile?
It is very difficult because there are no typical behaviors or typical pedophiles, and that we don't have specific characteristics that we could pinpoint. But usually these are people who are obsessed by children or preoccupied with spending time with the children, though that is not in itself very wrong. But then they go beyond, the care and affection that adults should be providing to children. But often they are generally skilled in terms of interpersonal skills with the children. They are very affectionate, and they often find it easy to gain the trust of the child. So of course this will catch almost all adults.
Almost every adult.
But I think we need to empower the child so that the child is aware of what is right and what is wrong.
Okay.
And then the red flag can be raised quickly.
Okay. In the event that someone is a pedophile, can this trend be reversed? Is it possible? How do you do it?
Treatment is very complicated. Reversing the process is very difficult. Not much success has been reported all over the world, but it takes long. Because it's a long-standing problem, it might require years of therapy. In countries like Germany, there is treatment that might involve hormones, reducing the male sex hormones that predispose the male to sexual violence and defilement. So hormone treatment can be provided, but basically therapy would take several years.
Well, this definitely is a topic that I'd love to get a bit more into, but we've run out of time. Thank you so much, Dr. Nyende, for joining us here at NTV Weekend Edition. I've been speaking to Paul Nyende, a lecturer at the School of Psychology at Makerere University. Now, last night, the staff here at NTV held the end-of-year party to celebrate another highly successful year. A number of staff members from across all departments were recognized for their exceptional achievements and performance. Here are some of the highlights from last night.
One of the consistent performers in the sales department. Mr. Johnson Omolo, you have a key talent here in Toli, and for that we give you a special mention. Congratulations, team. So a job well done. Congratulations, keep it up, and we are proud of you. Robert's name has come up on various occasions, and I think the support that we get many times is not, we might take for granted. 3, 2, 1! Happy New Year!
Let's take another short break. I'll be straight back with NTV Weekend Sport.
This is NTV.
Dr. Besige, are you telling us on this show tonight
when he broke
that it's
the rules,
okay to break rules?
people worth becoming leaders should not break rules.
Joseph Kony is defeated. He's on the run with his tail between his legs.
You cannot sit back and allow Somalia to continue to be in chaos.
I'm a Messiah.
I will leave office if we allow an environment where people freely elect their leaders.
You say correctly that the problem of Africa is leaders staying in power for so long.
What I said, staying in power without mandate of the people.
To exploring the word and sharing with Uganda's top gospel artists.
I am one of those most celebrated gospel artists in East Africa.
GXP is your one stop for encouragement and blessings.
Praise and worship is a strong component on GXP.
Every Sunday only on NTV. The party begins with 3 seasons under our belt. We show no sign of slowing down on the hit.
Let's go! 1, 2, go! I want to exchange my words with yours. Hold on. Just 1 minute.
And on a video, the ones and twos means on camera.
Log in for the glitz and glamour of Kampala's most flamboyant people and events.
In your face.
Keep it locked. Log in.
What's up, NTV? Log in.
Yo, this is Dr. coming in live on your TV. Log in.
Log in only on NTV.
I can do something from my own.
If you've been working for people for all this time and all this time, then there should be a problem with you.
But for us, we give you what you want.
Welcome to NTV Weekend Sport. The Council of Eastern Central Africa Football Association's General Secretary Nicholas Musonyi has urged national associations to capitalize on the regional championship to prepare their teams to play at the highest possible in the future. Musonyi was reacting to growing criticism concerning Uganda Cranes' inconsistency in competing at the Nations Cup final and their failure to qualify a team for the World Cup.
We have given them the transport, we have given them accommodation, we have given them everything they require to play. And we have seen the good quality football we have seen here. But qualifying for Olympics, World Cup and Cup of Nations is individual countries to prepare their teams. For example, we said we want the best teams to come here. Some teams brought their best teams, others did not. Are we to blame Sakafa? We are not. So what we have said, let the national associations of various countries prepare their teams well for continental competitions. We have given them a platform here to bring their teams and prepare for the match World Cup qualifiers. Some are not taking it serious. So as SACAFA, we have nothing to do. We have done our best to organize a competition for them, and if they don't want to take this competition seriously, that's upon them.
Uganda Cranes are the champions after winning the Sekafa Cup final at Nambole Stadium. This is the Cranes' 13th Sekafa title. We have been gauging the reactions from the fans. On to cricket, Uganda lost their opening game of the 2012 International Cricket Council Under-19 Girls Championship to Botswana by 7 wickets today. Mary Nalude and Gertrude Chandiru were the top scorers for Uganda. Alfredo Dong reports.
Girls Championship in Kampala, losing to Botswana by 7 wickets. Uganda won the toss and opted to bat only to amass 59 runs for the loss of 6. Mary Nalule and Irene Katsume top squad for the Ugandan side with 5 each, Gertrude Chandiru adding 3. 39 of the runs were however extras, most being from poor bowling resulting from wide deliveries. Ankida Trivadi managed to pick 2 wickets for Botswana. In the second innings, the visitors managed to collect 60 runs for the loss of 3 wickets and recording a 7-wicket victory against the hosts. The competition continues tomorrow with Uganda facing Rwanda at King's College Budo Oval. Kenya and Tanzania play at Lugogo and Chambogo. Alfred Odong, NTV Sport.
England have drawn close to registering a win against India in Test cricket. Meanwhile, the Turkish government has rejected a call to provide facilitation for the Formula One Grand Prix. All the details coming up in the International Sport Wrap.
England are on the brink of a resounding win over India in the third test after ripping through the home side's top order on the fourth day. Chasing 207 to make England bat again, India raced to 86 for no loss by lunch. Graham Swan bowled Virender Sehwag to spark a collapse in which India lost 6 wickets for 36 runs. The tourists look certain to wrap up an innings win, only for Rabichandran Ashwin with 83 to steer India to 239 for 9 at a close range for a slender lead of 32 runs. In Formula One, the Turkish government has rejected the idea of providing funding to revive the country's Grand Prix. Formula One's governing body, the FIA, announced on Wednesday that an unidentified European race had been fixed for 21st July 2013. Turkish race organizers who have been negotiating with Formula One said the event would depend on government funding being available, but the minister said this would not be possible. In football, Chelsea captain John Terry's knee injury will keep him out of the Club World Cup in Japan. The Champions League winners will miss 11 days of domestic action to represent Europe in the competition next week. Terry was expected to be out for 3 weeks after sustaining an injury in mid-November.
And that's all the sport we had for you. Thank you for watching. I'll be back with your comments for tonight's NTV Weekend Poll.
This is NTV.
The party begins with 3 seasons under our belt. We show no sign of slowing down on the hit.
Let's go! Let's go! 1, 2, go! I want to exchange my words with yours. Hold on. Just 1 minute.
And on a video, the ones and twos means on camera.
Log in for the glitz and glamour of Kampala's most flamboyant people and events.
In your face.
Keep it locked. Log in.
What's up, NTV? Log in.
Yo, this is Dr. coming in live on your TV. Log in.
Log in only on NTV.
This is NTV.
Your official inspiration station. It's more than just good music.
God is able to do just what he said he would do.
It's uplifting, intimate praise and worship. featuring the latest in gospel, to exploring the word and sharing with Uganda's top gospel artists.
I am one of those most celebrated gospel artists in East Africa.
GXP is...
In our weekend poll tonight, we asked you, are the Uganda Cranes ready to break into international tournaments? Well, we received quite a number of responses. We'll just take a look at a few more. We have Moses Twinamasko, who says, we just need to love and support the game as fans. To win, you need to be focused from the very start to the end of the game. Soccer as a game has been successful in Europe because of strategy and support from fans, but not government. Clubs in Europe were started by fans and not governments. We shall break and get international. Our luck is coming. As the fans, let's stay focused. Cranes, one day will get there to the greater heights. Our next response comes in from Bob Zamora, who says, yes, they are. When do you think they will, after winning a tournament with no loss and 1 goal conceded? We should learn to always push forward. Thank you so much for all of your responses. Let's take a quick look at Sunday's projected weather. Well, that's all the news we had for you tonight. Thank you for watching. I'm Josephine Karunji. Good night.
This is NTV.